hot take. I do wash my hair every day. We'll also see people who are like, I grew new hair in 3 weeks. Like, no. So.
Oh, hello, darling. Are you hitting
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Hitting Pan by IPSY, where we talk about all things beauty. Nothing is off limits. And our guest is perfect for that because she is one of the funniest people I follow on Instagram. Truly, I'm so blessed. Hashtag blessed to have her here. She is a creator. She is a model. She's all the things. She's a hair expert.
Woman.
Yeah.
Hear me
she has
out.
the most beautiful hair I've ever seen, and seeing it in
you.
person is a privilege. So, yes, Dana Patterson, welcome to Hitting Pan.
Thank you so much for having me. I could
so
not be more excited.
No, I've been building this up. I'm so excited. I'm telling you, you know this. I watch your stories and your content religiously, and I just think you're like the coolest, funniest person.
Stop. I love you so much.
No, truly.
This link up was so long overdue.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. I obviously know a little bit about you being a follower of yours, but I would love to kind of get a little intro to you and how you got, give me some background on your modeling career and kind of how you got to where you are today.
Oh yeah. So long story long.
Oh my God. I love when people say that. It's me.
One thing
in a
about
nutshell.
me, we're going to take many journeys on this story time. Okay, so strap in, grab a drink, and grab a snack. Okay. But basically, I got started because I got scouted by Ford right before I turned 18 which is I thought it was a joke. I genuinely was like, this is my first episode of Punk'd. Welcome back to my channel. Am I aging myself with the Punk'd reference? Some of the Gen Z kids will know. Okay, you guys didn't get to experience Punk'd. But I got scouted. It was totally surreal by an older sister of someone who I was going to school with. She's incredible. Shout out to Lucy. Literally the only reason that I have this career. I went to New York, met with Ford, and that's how I got started. So I was in New York for a little bit. It was great, but it was also a lot for a freshly 18-year-old kid to deal with from St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, no less.
So you moved, you fully packed up, and you were I'm going in.
The whole thing. Because I was at that moment in time, I was okay, I could go to my school of choice or I could take this chance and do this. I can always go back to school.
Yep, love that.
And thankfully, my parents were so unbelievably supportive. God bless them. They were do your thing, girl. We support you. Do whatever you want to do. So that's how I got started. And then I ended up signing with Wilhelmina later on, moving to LA. And the LA market was much more for me because I'm very happy lifestyle girl, or mom in the mom jeans. So I did a lot of Old Navy, Nordstrom, Target, American Eagle, just very, happy commercial girl.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into influencing because actually one of my print clients was hey, we would love to have you do a Instagram post in addition to the e-com stuff that I was and campaign stuff that I was doing for them. And I think this was in 2014, early days. Oh yeah, I'm an OG.
Oh yeah. And
essentially I was so shook. They wanted to pay me I remember calling my dad and I was they want to pay me to post on Instagram. Can you believe? This is insane. So I was so unbelievably excited. I remember it was for a Halloween costume for one of my lingerie clients. And I was boop, ready to do this. Let's go. So that was my first ever, influencer marketing job. And from there on, I was I think I really want to do this because I wanted something that was going to showcase my personality more than just, your typical print modeling stuff. And obviously
it's literally a picture.
Funny.
Yeah,
and you guys need to know that. Okay, you need to know that. It's an emergency. I just wanted to kind of get into it more and I started building my following. I was still modeling for a long time.
I was going to say, what was the split?
It was definitely 50-50 up until probably 2018. 2018, I was just doing way too much. I was also coaching volleyball.
Oh my God.
I was coaching from Mizuno Long Beach. I was doing way too much. Go Beach. Okay, hear me out. But that's because I love coaching and it just brought me so much fulfillment, but I was killing myself. I'd be taking a plane from a print shoot and going straight from the airport to coaching, practice, and then getting one night's sleep and then having an event the
and then
next day.
Waking up early and then tournaments and then it was,
My body was you need to give it up. I remember I had my first Coachella and the weekend after we had a qualifier in Vegas and I had no voice. I had the Coachella cough.
Oh yes.
I know that very well. Or a mask because it's really bad. Okay?
It's so bad.
But I was just doing way too much. So I ended up I stopped coaching, which very sad for me because that's one of my favorite things in the world. But then I kind of weaned off of print work too because it just does not pay as well as influencer marketing stuff does. Because really that gives the client an opportunity to get directly to their audience. So it was a much better situation for me. I also really loved just being in control of my own content, in control of my own image, in control of my own career. Because obviously when you're signed to a print agent, it's just very curated and controlled by them in a lot of ways. And I just, I like to be able to helm my own ship, so to speak.
I cannot even imagine what it would be like in the world of modeling, to be honest with you. Just like the culture of modeling and the demands of modeling.
Oh, yeah.
What were the biggest struggles that you went through being a model? And you were in New York and LA, so you probably saw a little bit of different worlds and different vibes.
Definitely. So honestly, the body image stuff is some of the toughest because you really are, especially from when I started.
Oh, it's different.
So different now. Like, it's so much easier to get signed, which is incredible. Like, so many more diverse body types and just looks and everything. Like, it's much more accepted.
Yep.
But when I first got started, it was very structured. Like, you had to be a very specific size, a very specific look. That was really hard on me. And I was kind of like in the middle ground of sizing at the time. I think when I first got started, I was like a size 10 to 12. And now I'm like a 14, 16. And they either wanted me to gain quite a bit of weight or lose quite a bit of weight. I remember I had a manager who told me that if I lost 60 pounds, I could be a supermodel. And this was at my thinnest too. Yeah. It was like impossible. But of course, me being me,
To
I was
your
like,
face,
I can do
though,
that.
like straight
oh,
up.
No. Oh, always to your face. Always. Oh, they will say whatever. Like, that's the other thing that was hard is that your agents, again, I think it's better now because social media like holds people accountable a little bit more. They don't want that TikTok story time going up. Okay, no, they don't. But they would say horrible things about the way that you looked, like even height stuff, like whatever, because I'm on the shorter side, like I'm 5'8". I mean, my feet are effed up because of all the heels that I had to wear. It's giving Bunyan City these days. Like, it's rough. Anyway, if you're a company who specializes in bunion surgery, call me. I'm ready for the partnership. Okay, hit your girl up. Okay, like, it's really that. Like, I wish I was kidding. Okay?
I'm screaming.
I wish I was kidding. But the body image stuff was just really tough, especially growing up as I've been plus size my entire life. So it's like being a plus size kid, getting into modeling, you're like, okay, this is what dreams are made of. Hey now. I'm like, I will do whatever it takes to make this work. Because obviously I got scouted, so I had immense privilege in that. But from there on, like, I faced a lot of adversity. It was really tough. I did not have like an easy come up. So many no's got dropped from Wilhelmina at one point. Like, not because I did anything wrong, but it was just, I remember I had emailed them and asked them, like, what can I do to, like, further my career and whatever. And instead, they dropped me. So
No.
Oh, it's all good because quite literally right afterwards, I booked the biggest job of my career. And I was like, be well.
Yeah,
so
peace and love.
It was all up from there. So it was
Yeah.
no hard feelings, business biz.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I don't blame them either. But the body image stuff was probably the toughest.
I can't imagine.
Because it's so dehumanizing and people view you literally as a clothing rack, not as a human being. And so they think they can really say anything to you.
It's like what comes to their brain first and what they think is right. They're going to say it out loud and they don't give a shit about
Exactly.
you. Yeah.
Exactly. So I remember I went through a really hard time with my skin for a long time where I had really, really bad cystic acne. Clients and my agents, makeup artists were constantly making negative comments about it. And it was really, really, really tough because at the time I was doing everything that I could to fix it. Dermatologists, estheticians, all the skincare in the world. Like, I wish I knew. That's part of the reason why I got into beauty and beauty science was that I really just wanted to be able to figure out my own skincare needs and issues. So that was definitely really hard too, but just the dehumanization was tough. And so that's why I was really grateful to be able to kind of take control of my career again and not have to deal with those outside voices and outside opinions and kind of put my blinders on and do my thing.
Yeah.
So that was the hard part. But honestly, there were so many incredible parts of my like early print career, like meeting incredible friends, people who I've come up with. Like one of my really good friends, Jen Collins, is an amazing beauty photographer now. And she was like my first friend moving to LA.
Wow.
And our careers have changed. I mean, she has shot for everybody. Like the Say campaigns that you see up, she shot that. Kylie Jenner, she shot that.
So she's like in the beauty
oh,
world.
Yeah, like she's that girl.
Oh.
And we've just like had this really amazing like come up together in our careers. And it's crazy because we've known each other for 10 years. Like I remember when we could not afford a cookie at Granville. Like we were like, we'll go to dinner and maybe split something. like I don't know.
You're like, what's your taste in, because we're going to split.
Yeah, we're going to split. Like let's figure this out.
Do you want to eat? Let's eat together. One thing, split it.
Half cookie, half meal. So I'm very, very grateful for all the friends that I've made along the way. Like I have so many incredible industry friends, and for that I am immensely grateful. But it was definitely very character building.
Yeah.
So
I think that's why talking about body neutrality and like what a lot of the stuff that you talk about is neutralizing words like fat. I think that's like such a great thing to
we gotta
think
take
about.
back fat, friends.
Yeah.
Like it's people get alarmed when I say plus size or fat. Like I was actually on another podcast where I talked about being plus size and whatever. And she was like, I don't even like that word. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
It's not negative.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for us to, add this negative connotation. Like, it's totally neutral. It's just a descriptor. And it's all good. Like, it's not a big deal because people are so afraid of the word fat and so afraid of the word plus size. It's like they want to recreate an entirely new, like, whimsical word. And I'm like, no, it's okay. Yeah. Like,
and I feel like it's usually people who are not plus size.
Oh, no, it's always the thin people. They're like so afraid to say the word fat. They're like, oh, like curvy, like whatever, like thick, like thick queen drives me insane. I'm like, it's okay. Like, y'all are the ones who are uncomfortable. Not me.
I'm good. Yeah.
Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that the print world really taught me was that I take all comments about me neutral, even positive ones.
Yeah.
Because it's like as much as people know about me online and think that they know me, it's like they still don't,
Yeah.
So I'm able to set that boundary and know that all commentary about me is neutral.
Yeah.
Positive or negative.
Yeah.
So that way everything rolls off my back.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get to determine how you feel about yourself in that moment.
Exactly.
And no,
like,
that makes so much sense.
The only commentary is my parents, my family, my closest people. Past that, everything's just like, thank you so much.
Yeah. That checks out. I love that. I love that for you. And I think it's good for everyone to think of. I had shared your story of you on another podcast talking about that. And I had a friend respond to me and she said, this is so interesting, is when you were talking about like if you grew up in the 90s or the early 2000s, like you are fat phobic.
Yes. Oh,
like,
no question.
You without knowing it a lot of times.
Yes.
And it was about taking back the word fat and empowering yourself to not let it bother you, right?
Yeah.
It's who cares? It's just a word.
My like little 6 to 8 year old self so badly needed to hear that. So badly. So if I can have that impact on other people, like that's all I care about.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just bringing neutrality to it all is so incredibly important. It just allows you to live.
Yeah.
Like allows you to live freely and happily as yourself. Like for me, body neutrality changed my life. And that's kind of why I got out of, kind of the scope of body positivity. First of all, I found that it's really a movement that's been co-opted by a lot of thin white women when it was created as a, fat liberation movement. It didn't really sit right with me once I kind of learned the origins and whatever, but also the new age body positivity is all about like feeling positive about the way you look 24/7. And that adds so much pressure. So it's like, it's very normal to have days where you feel off about your body. And when you're practicing body neutrality, you're able to just say, you know what? It's okay that I'm having a bad day. All good. Gonna love on myself and just move on. Like it's okay that I feel this way. I don't need to like crank it up to 11 and be like, I love myself so much. I love myself so much. It just is like too much pressure to put on yourself.
And then feeling bad because you don't feel good.
Exactly.
You're like, I should feel, it's not, it's like,
why do I feel this way?
Yeah.
And you're also not taking into account like all the societal structures that are the reason that we feel this way.
Yeah.
Because you're like punishing yourself for not loving yourself and, loving every, bit of your body 24/7 and whatever. But the reality is there's no way for us to do that when we've grown up in a society and systems that inherently make us hate ourselves and the way that we look in our bodies. And it just is like too much pressure.
Yeah.
So body neutrality just lets you like release all of that.
And it's so different than what, like you said, we were raised with. I mean, I sometimes, we love our parents and we love, our grandparents, but like sometimes those are the biggest offenders, like to this day, where just like in passing a comment and you're just like, Mom, and I'm kidding. I'm just like, not your
love
mom.
You, Mom. But love you, Mom. Don't watch this episode. Like, no.
That's why the conversations now are so important because there is, the 6-year-olds growing up now, like you said, they need to hear that. I feel like it's something you do a lot of content around. I mean, you have a great variety of content, but I do feel like it's something that
yeah. It's kind of a main theme in everything that I talk about because I think it's so incredibly important. And as you said, it runs through generations. I don't blame older generations for it because they grew up probably with much worse. Yeah. And so it's just so deeply ingrained in them. They don't know another way to live. And so I feel like people like us are able to break that generational trauma cycle and not pass that down to our kids. Yeah. And, that's like unfortunately we had to go through it too, but now we're able to see a different side and positively impact, our kids and other people and all of that.
Speaking of impacting people, what are your DMs like? Like, are people constantly reaching out to you and like having really cool conversations?
Yes.
I bet you get a lot of like rewarding messages about this. Yeah,
I do. And for that, I'm like immensely grateful. Like I cry in my DMs all the time. People are so kind, so sweet, but just knowing like you have a positive impact, that's truly all I care about because being in this industry for so long, it's easy to get caught up in other things and, in the success of it all. And am I doing this? I want to do this, whatever. But at the end of the day, you get to a point where that is so unbelievably unfulfilling. It's like you are constantly just thinking about the next thing and nothing is ever like enough. But what is enough for me is the positive impact that I have on other people. And so to be able to get those messages is like everything that I could ask for and more.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, community is a really big thing right now in working with brands. Like for me, when I'm working with talent or we're looking at talent, like, yeah, I want someone who has got a great community, positive community, people who are having conversations, people are talking to whoever we're working with, leaving comments on their content. So to me, like that goes much further than a number or, some metric that you're tracking. So I think like having this conversation is probably building such a great relationship with your community.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they're just open and real.
Oh my gosh, I love you.
You're in it. I love
I paid
it.
her to say that.
I'll be sending you an invoice
Under
later.
the table deal, okay? Hear me out.
I love it.
But yeah, my DMs are amazing. So.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like your approach to partnerships is so interesting to me because it's so genuine. It feels like just any piece of content that you do, like whether, like to me, I can't tell the difference. And sometimes
That
you
means
can
so
with
much.
ads and partnerships.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's forced or it feels like you're reading a script. And to me, I feel like you're so genuine. How do you keep like your voice and your personality so that your followers, your community feels like, okay, this is authentic?
Sometimes it's hard because a lot of brands want things to be very structured. But I will say I love partnering with brands, obviously, that I already love.
Yep.
Like that's my number one thing. I only work with brands that I use and love.
Yep.
And I know that every influencer says that, but I feel like at this point in the game, there's no reason not to. It's like you don't have to go out of your way to work with brands where you're like, having to fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
There's no reason
You've never
to force
used it and you're like, let me just try to make this work. No.
Every brand like wants to work with influencers,
Yep.
so you might as well just work with brands you already use and love. So that's like my number one. So that way it's like already authentic off the bat because it's already products that are in my rotation. So that's number one. Number two, I think for me it's just like including it in something that I would already create.
Yeah.
And it's like, just let me do my thing.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? I'm like, let me just put my spinaroo on this. But keeping it relatable, keeping it accessible, because for me, like I'm a beauty girl through and through, but I'm also lazy. I have ADHD. I'm a tired, okay? Like I don't have time to do a 4-hour routine. Like I'm not one of those, like I just did a TikTok about how I love to do an Uber beat because I'm always in the car. I'm always driving. Like I did my makeup in the car when I arrived here, okay?
And and you are B. You look good.
But, that's kind of my like beauty philosophy. So, and I feel like a lot of people are that way. People are busy moms. They're in college. They're working full time. They are busy. Like they don't have time to sit down and do a, 4-hour, 30-step hair care routine or skincare routine.
Perfectly curated.
No,
like,
we're not clean girl aesthetic over here, baby. Like we are messy ADHD aesthetic over here, beloved.
That's why I love you. That's me. Yes.
So I think for me, like, it's just staying authentic to myself no matter what, because, again, like obviously partnerships are incredible or whatever, but there is no amount of money, there is no check that would make me risk my integrity and my trust with my followers.
Yeah.
Because that's truly all that matters. Once you lose that, it's over for you.
Yep.
Like, be well.
Yeah.
Like, they're sending you down the river. Like, hope you got a paddle. Like, it's over.
Yeah. Then it's TikTok story time, And then you're like,
TikTok
something
story time
happened.
central. And I think for me too, like, the biggest and most important thing for my career is longevity. Like virality is great, like blowing up quickly is great, but I want to be here for the long haul. So I want to make sure that I keep my backbone, my integrity, my ethics, my morals, my character as we move forward. And we've definitely had partnerships where I've had to blow the deal up because they wanted me to say something I was definitely not going to say or make a claim that was not a claim that I was able to make.
Yep.
And, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with losing money to make sure to keep, my integrity.
It all goes together. Everything blurs together because I feel like it's just all you.
Yeah.
You're bringing yourself to every single thing that you put out, which is hard to do.
Hard.
It is like you said, everybody says this. Everybody says like, I only work with brands I like, but it is not that easy.
Oh, it's not.
Because
No.
you get an offer and you're like, this is good money.
Yeah.
This is a big brand. And it is hard. Like it's not easy to turn that down. Like,
and I don't blame people either. Like I don't want to come off as
No,
like
no,
a
no.
judgy bitch.
Not at
because
all.
I people got to do what they got to do.
Yeah.
But just for me personally, at the Dana LLC, okay, we only take partnerships with people that I heavily mess with.
yeah, it's longevity.
So,
It's
yes.
that's the difference. You're like
It's
being right now and in the moment versus
community
like,
building. I care about. I could not imagine selling someone a product that wasn't good, because I think about people are spending like their hard-earned money in this economy on the products that you're talking about. They're trusting you. They're putting their trust in you. Okay. That is something that is so incredibly valued, and I'm just not going to risk it for a biscuit. We are not risking it for a biscuit in this family. Listen. So yeah, that's just so important to me. Like, I just care so deeply about people. Like, it just flows like through my content.
Yeah, so. I feel that. I can tell when I'm watching your stuff. To me, you stand out. We'll go to Hair Science with Dana because that kind of feeds into this, which is like at some point you decided I'm going to dig into ingredients. How did you get to that point? And like, because you said you've always been a beauty girly, right? But like, that is a step deeper than a lot of people are doing.
Way, way deeper. You know, I think for me, it's that now with we have access to medical data now. Now, I will say, it is not for the average person to interpret. Okay. So I like run things past like a lot of my like scientist friends, doctor friends, because, you know, it's not meant to be interpreted by laymen. So a lot of times I'm like, I'm going to cite all the sources, but like we may not know how to properly read, you know, this clinical study, whatever. But for me, it was about the fact that I didn't just want to talk about my personal opinion, because everybody's hair and skin and also their goals and what they like in products is totally different. Yeah. That's the other thing is like, you know, I love Benetint, for example. Like, it's one of my favorite products, but a lot of people don't like it because it's not pigmented enough for them. But that's the reason why I like it. Yes. I like a little more like natural, like, you know. So I wanted to get down to the science of it so that people could know what ingredients to look for, what to look for in the formulation that they're, you know, at the store for. I wanted to arm people with the knowledge to be able to make an educated decision for themselves when they are, you know, purchasing something. Yeah. So that was like my biggest goal. And the way to get there was through the science. So I essentially started combing through medical data. I was, you know, picking up like cosmetology books and hair science books and, you know, listening to lectures online. And then I started through TikTok, God bless, making friends with scientists and, you know, dermatologists and chemists and all these other things and learning as much as I could about the ingredients and how they function and how the hair functions. A lot of what you're seeing in products and where trends are going is just because of marketing. Even the whole silicone-free thing, it's like so many products are silicone-free, but it's only because of clean beauty marketing. It's not because silicones aren't great. Yeah. Silicones are probably one of the best ingredients for hair. They're like an amazing light conditioning agent. They're great paired with, you know, other butters and oils. Like butters and oils are generally like heavier than you think. People think silicones are heavy. It's really the butters and oils. So
you heard it here.
That's why it's great to combine them with things like silicones to add like a little bit more of a light, you know, slippery like texture and give that hair that conditioning that you're looking for. And also that shine. Silicones are responsible for a lot of the shine that you see in, you know, gorgeous glossy hair.
But you're seeing silicone free everywhere in the midst.
Everywhere. It's, like it's all because of marketing. Yeah. It's not because the ingredient is bad for hair. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the other reasons that I wanted to start this series was that I wanted to show people like there are other options out there for you. Mm-hmm. And we don't just have to go towards, you know, whatever's trending in marketing. Mm-hmm. Like, doesn't mean the ingredient's bad. You know, similar thing with parabens. Parabens are our most studied and safe preservative out there. And it's been switched out with a lot of different ones, including phenoxyethanol, that a lot of people have serious ingredient allergies to because it's a newer ingredient. So we don't know as much about it. It's been, you know, super fear-mongered for no reason. People are reading, they're like, hearing about a study, not reading it, and then repeating it. It's like the game of misinformation telephone.
It snowballs, and then now everybody's saying the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So for me, a big thing is accessibility. And so I want people to know that they can get great hair and not have to spend $1 bazillion. Uh-huh. And so there's a ton of fear-mongering around drugstore products and ingredients in drugstore products.
But it's coming back around, though. I feel like where people, I've seen you talk about it. I've seen a couple other people be like, this is my holy grail, and it's a drugstore hair product. Yeah,
and it's $7 hairs. Yeah, like hello, like get into it.
People, I feel like now with people like you who are diving deeper and maybe like not making some generalized assessment of something, and they're saying like, no, let's break this down. This is why you should use this. You don't use it if you're this person, but this person, and that's really interesting because I do think like, especially with hair is way less. People know way less about hair than they do about makeup. And skincare now is more accessible too. Yeah. But hair, to me, like it's a big undertaking to learn all that. Everything that you were just saying, I'm like,
it is my hyperfixation interest. I just love getting to the root in the science. Yeah. But again, like a lot of it too was the accessibility point. I wanted people to feel like they could go to the drugstore and find products that they loved and have great hair and not have to, you know, spend their last paycheck on it again, like in this economy, please. Yeah. And so that was another reason why I wanted to start it because the formulations at the drugstore are not that different from high-end formulations. Ingredient sourcing goes into that, and different technologies. Like there are definitely things that are way more expensive than other ingredients, et cetera. It just really depends. I just wanted to have people have the access to the information to make educated decisions for themselves because it's very complicated and it's all, about marketing. And a lot of times the marketing is bamboozling. It's bamboozling. Mm-hmm. So I want people to be armed with the knowledge so they can make a good choice with their money.
Yeah.
So.
I learned the craziest thing today. Did you know that one Laura Mercier translucent loose setting powder is sold every 46 seconds in the US? I'm not surprised. It's the #1 setting powder nationwide. It sets makeup for 16 hours with a cake-free matte finish, but it's also so finely milled that it feels like you're not wearing anything at all. There's also an ultra blur version that's talc-free formula with hyaluronic acid, so it feels even more comfortable for dry and mature skin. This comes in the best-selling loose format and a new pressed version for easy on-the-go use. They also just launched the loose setting powder in Rose, and it's a perfectly balanced peachy pink shade to match warm and cool undertones, and instantly brightens and color corrects, all without a hint of chalkiness. Laura Mercier really is the setting destination with something for everyone. I know what I'll be wearing all summer. If you're dying to try these powders out, get 20% off site-wide at lauramercier.com with the code IPSY20 from July 11th to August 11th, limited to one-time use per customer. How often are you posting that type of content, and like what kind of work goes into each piece? Are you researching? Are you picking a product and then going backwards? Are you picking a problem and then going backwards? Like how do you approach that?
Generally, I kind of go based off of a couple things. Number one, sometimes ingredients that I want to talk about, sometimes direct products that I want to talk about. A lot of times it's questions from people that are, needing hair help. So I'll make a lot of content based off of people's questions because again, this is a series for the people.
Yep.
Like I want to give people access to the information. So generally it's that, but the problem is with the series is like so much research goes into each video.
I cannot imagine. That's what I'm saying. Like in my head, I'm like, that's a lot of work.
It's a lot. So it's like, I wish I could be, one of the review girlies who's just like popping up. I'm like, I like this, the end. Buy it, slay. But for me, I'm like up until 4 a.m., like looking at clinicals, making sure that I have like correct data sourced, because again, like I want to be able to cite my sources and be able to tell people like where I got this information from so they can access it as well. And that's definitely the hard part, is making sure that I'm as well researched as possible, because I also don't want to get on the internet and say something that isn't true. So, and obviously science is always changing and we need a lot more data on hair. Like there's a lot of things that we don't know, but past that, like it's definitely a labor of love.
I know. I don't even, all those things that you just named, like where do you even find that?
Medical databases.
I mean, that's wild.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that. Truly, the hair science, that it checks out, because medical studies, you're like, okay, no, this is legit.
Yes, exactly. And obviously, again, like science is always changing, but I feel like that's a good baseline to give people, again, so that they can, know what's best for them, and different hair types and different textures, like different things. And it's so personal, like based off of, your density, porosity, and texture. That's kind of where I base my recommendations for products and, ingredients and whatever off of, but it's so personal.
Yeah.
So.
I need you to tell me about your hair journey.
Yes.
Because I'm not kidding. The most beautiful hair I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh,
if you see a Dana selfie or like a picture on her feed, it's like it's not, and like this is not real. Like how does one have hair like this?
Oh, you're
have
so
you always
sweet.
had hair like that? Like what's your story? Because now you take care of it, but has hair always been your thing?
I have always had hair that looks ish like this.
Okay.
But it took me a long time to get it to its healthiest state.
Yeah.
And that was my other thing, is that I really just wanted to have the healthiest hair possible. Like that's one of the reasons that I kind of started on this journey too, was that I just wanted to like see if I could get my hair to be like at optimal health level. So I've gone through like a lot of different hair journeys and things. Like my hair was definitely damaged in my younger years. Like I use Sun-In.
Oh my God.
Rule number 1, don't use Sun-In. And the Gen Z kids won't know what I'm talking about.
They don't.
Don't Google it. Don't buy it. Don't do that. Okay? Rule number 1. Unless you want to look like orange in the worst way, beloved.
It's like peroxide.
Oh yeah, no, it's literally like peroxide. No toner. Terrible. Like been there, did that. I had the orange hair, and I already have like a little bit of auburn undertone in my hair.
Yeah.
So, like,
it was orange. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was orange. So didn't love that. I also had it bleached for a long time.
You were blonde?
I like wanted to be blonde. I'm gonna give you a picture.
No, I need to see
in case we want a PIP in this. Because listen, no, I had blonde hair. It was so broken. It still looked good. Like it looked good. I still had thick hair, but it was giving like crispy. I will show you a video where like my ends are so like wispy and see-through.
Yeah.
Like my ends were the
It's
friends
like,
that we
hey.
made along the way. Like it was like, where are you, girl? Like, I don't know. Like SOS. That was definitely like a moment. And that was in the beginning of COVID. So I had gone really, really blonde, I think like 2019.
I don't even remember that. I feel like I followed you for a while, but I must have missed that
2019,
stage. Okay.
I will show you photos. 2019, because I had started like dabbling with highlights probably in like 2016. There was a job that I was on, I think in 2015, where they had bleached some of my hair. I dyed it back dark. And then I was like, well, I want to add a little like lightness in it. But the damage was... Because when you bleach your hair, you're inherently damaging it. Yes, there are things that you can do. You can use bond builders, obviously like great conditioning products, whatever. But the way that bleach works, it is inherently damaging your hair. So it just kind of is what it is.
No matter what.
No
if
matter
there's
what.
going to be damage.
There's going to be damage. So you just have to prepare for that. But I was experiencing so much breakage. I was dealing with telogen effluvium, which is basically like a stress-related hair loss during like 2020, as a lot of us were. And, you know, people dealing with COVID hair loss, et cetera. And so that was when I started like really diving deep into the hair science situation.
Okay.
And looking into ingredients that could help my crispy hair. But for most of my life, I've always had, you know, thick hair. And I've told people like hair science with Dana tips are not gonna like miraculously place this onto your head, because I'm honest with people. Because I feel like sometimes hair creators will do a little fib, you know, and they'll be like, you can have, you know, hair that looks like this, you know, if you do X, Y, Z. And I'm just not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna give you the best hair of your life. You're gonna thank me, but it's not gonna be, you know, someone else's
genetics
hair.
is
it's based off genetics. So, you know, that's that. But the bleach moment was definitely a turning point for me. So I like haven't colored my hair since, haven't touched it.
Ooh, love the color.
Thank you. I'm having some grays come in, starting to embrace that.
I can't.
For us.
I would never be able to tell that. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't love that.
Love
I'm
this
not
gift.
ready.
Yeah.
I'm not ready. But yeah, so it was really about like figuring out ingredients to help with the longevity of my hair. Because again, I also like wasn't getting haircuts during that time because we were in the middle of COVID.
Yep.
So I was like, Lord Jesus, give me
Wait, did you ever cut your own hair?
No.
Oh, you wouldn't do it.
I should have.
I did.
I just like knew I would fuck it up. Like I knew it would be so bad. I was
When
like,
you have, the more hair you have, I feel like the worse it could be.
it's very stressful.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
like, that was kind of how like my hair journey like took a pivot. But yeah, like I've always had, you know, thick,
you've had
dense
a mane.
hair.
Yeah.
Yes, genetically.
And I have to say, as I was saying that to you, because I think objectively you have gorgeous hair, but you know, I almost had like a moment of like hair neutrality where I was
I love it.
where
Hair
I was like,
neutrality.
but you don't have to have hair like that to have gorgeous hair.
Exactly,
Like there are so many
absolutely.
different like types, textures, everything that's also
Yes.
gorgeous, not just long, thick
And
hair.
also, for the record, your hair doesn't have to be healthy to be beautiful
Yeah.
either.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's another thing that's like, you know, an important part of the discussion. It's really a choice about how you want to take care of your hair and, you know, how you want that religious practice to be. You don't have to have healthy hair. I think that's like another thing that's like, we slip into kind of a weird area where it's like you have to have the most glossy,
shiny,
healthy matte. You don't.
Yeah.
Like,
you could have like bleach blonde, hot pink hair, and it's like damaged, but it looks real
that's okay.
cute.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Like, it's okay to have, you know, porous hair, you know, frizzy hair,
Yes.
like all of that. A-okay.
Do you have gorgeous hair? Yes, but even if someone doesn't have hair like that, they still
Absolutely.
can have gorgeous hair.
Absolutely.
I've always had like thinner hair,
Yeah.
and I had postpartum and COVID at the same time
Really
overlap, and
tough,
I think I
girl.
lost like 60% of my hair. Like, you know, when you like walk into a stylist and you're like, I've had some hair loss, they're like, oh yeah, that happens. No, my stylist was like, oh yeah, no, you lost. This is the most hair I've ever seen anyone lose postpartum. So I like had like almost like a bowl cut around my whole head of like the hair that I had lost. And so that was the first time I was like really looking at hair and just like being like, I don't feel like with that much hair loss, I just felt like I did not feel good. I did not, but I just had to, you have to like almost like accept it. And and actually something that I want to do next time if I decide to have another child is to prepare myself a little bit better, do some research, hair being like a huge piece of you that can make you feel great or make you feel terrible.
Yeah. You know, again, for me too, like it kind of goes into the false advertising of it all. It's like, I just want to help people have the best hair they can have. It doesn't have to be.
It's your version
it's
of
your
like
version
where
of-
you want your hair to be.
Exactly. Yeah. Like all hair is beautiful, not to sound like cliche or whatever, but truly it's like dead protein growing from our head, you guys. Like it really is. It is not that deep. Like it's whatever you want it to be. Like I always tell people, this is just like our avatar. It's all about how you want to customize it. Like we are here living on this round thing spinning in the sky. Okay, some people think it's flat. get help. hope you get help for that. Prayers. But it just is so silly. It's like literally I just have this avatar. Like I'm going to customize it the way I want to. Like, so do whatever the fuck you want with your hair.
I'm in it. I'm with you. I'm with you. And when you were going through hair loss and during all your research, do you have any like mild tips for me?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, because like I really don't want to go through that again. And,
absolutely.
And I want to try to do everything I can.
Number one, always go see your GP first before you do anything at home, because we need to figure out whether it's stress or hormone related, obviously postpartum, whether it's a vitamin deficiency, all of these things. Like we need to get that checked out first, get a full blood panel first, and then go from there. Okay. Because there's lots of like prescription options as well. Like there's oral minoxidil, there's topical minoxidil, there's lots of different things that you can use like from the doctor. So that's number one. But maybe you don't have access, maybe you just want to do it from home, totally understandable. My number one absolute favorite is an ingredient called Redensil. It's amazing, has a lot of good data behind it. It's like one of my absolute faves. It's in the ordinary peptide, multi-peptide, and I love that because it's not expensive. So especially because you're supposed to use these things, you know, optimally every day. I know and that's like
for,
not
like you don't for 6 months sometimes.
For 6 months. Because it takes, people don't realize how long the follicular cycle is. Like it takes a long time to grow that new hair. So we'll also see people who are like, I grew new hair in 3 weeks. Not true, like when you are a liar, like no. So like me when I lie, it's just, it's not humanly possible. Like love you, girly, it's just not humanly possible. Wishful, but no. So you have to give your, you know, follicles time to like do their thing and grow that hair. So I like to recommend like products that are more on the affordable side so that you can continue to repurchase them, whatever. I think that's around like $18 to $20. You get a good sized bottle of it. I also love the fact that it's water weight, so it's not an oil. So people talk a lot about rosemary oil, and I think it's good. There's a little bit of promising data, but there's not as much data as people act like there is.
It's basically heavy too.
It's so heavy. I can't do, and I will tell you, hot take, silence in the room, I do wash my hair every day, and people lose their ever-loving mind over it.
No, but listen, someone just had big eyes over here. I'm not telling you who.
Oh, yeah.
But someone went like this.
Every day. And if you talk to any dermatologist, they will tell you that is A-okay. Okay. And I'll get into all the reasons why and whatever. But number one is Redensil. That's like my number one doctor, Redensil scalp massage. So accompany your, I know, and it's hard to take,
I didn't do it.
Especially as a mom. Like I know it's really hard to take the time out of your day, but even like
throw it in the shower.
Minutes,
throw it in the shower.
Throw it in the shower, 15 minutes, just like really get in there and massage your scalp. Even if you like flip your head over and do it, that's going to be even more beneficial because blood is rushing to the follicles while you're doing it. Ooh. And then just figuring out like what your best like wash cycle is. For some people, for scalp health, it is better to wash your hair more often. But it depends on your texture, totally depends on your hair's needs. Like some people can go, 3 weeks, a month without washing. I'm not that person, but if that works for you, that's great. But scalp manipulation and, massaging and washing that scalp is really beneficial for your scalp health overall. And obviously, as we're trying to grow hair, we want to make sure that we're taking care of our scalp as optimally as we can.
I'm glad this is recorded because I will come back to it. Yeah. That is amazing. Yeah. I didn't do any of those things.
No, it's all good. Yeah. Also, like supplementation, again, make sure to see your doctor see your provider before trying any of these tips. Thank you. I also recommend Nutrafol is great. Okay. Nutrafol is great. I do recommend Nutrafol.
It's every day you're taking it. Yeah.
Yes, every day you're taking it. And also making sure that you're eating foods rich in iron. There is a lot of data links to iron and healthy hair growth. I really love, supplementing it. I take the Mega Food Iron because it doesn't hurt my tummy. Okay, sensitive tummy girls, rise. So that's very important. But a little bit of iron supplementation could be good. And just getting a, good, well-rounded diet. That's the other thing. I always tell people it's about adding in, not taking away. So you don't need to, take away things to add in, a pile of kale that you're suffering through eating, okay? We've all been there. We've all been there. Literally. We've all suffered for the kale salad, okay? Whatever. It's just about adding it in to make sure that you're getting those nutrients for optimal hair growth. It will grow back for most people. That's the other thing is don't panic. It will generally come back. And then another thing on the hair loss note that I want to mention is that a lot of times people think that they're dealing with hair loss when they're dealing with breakage and length retention issues. So make sure that you know that it's coming directly loss from your scalp and not just breakage. So I tell people there's a two tandem way that we have to look at hair growth. We have to make sure that we're focusing on length retention and scalp health. That's how you're going to get the best results. Because a lot of times you're just dealing with breakage in the shower from heat damage, chemical damage, even just being too rough on your hair, not using enough conditioning ingredients. my one vice is that I have my hair up in the bun all the time, and I know I'm gonna have breakage from that. I'm like, do as I say, not as I do. Like, do the low, like loose. I have my hair up in the bun all the time.
Your epic high knot.
Yes, I'm big in the messy bun. Like one of my trending TikTok searches is Dana Patterson messy bun. I'll get the tutorial up someday.
Yes.
A girl from summer camp taught me how to do it when I was 8. Okay, I need to find her. I need to holler at our girl, get her on the channel. But
I know.
But that's like my one vice. So I know that I'm gonna have hairline breakage from that. But if you can protect your hair in other ways, you'll be golden. That's like the two-prong system to getting long, healthy hair.
Oh, this is so valuable. Thank you. I need it. I need this because
This is my
I
bread
am
and butter,
scared.
girl.
No, I'm scared. Like I will probably DM you later
girl,
because
call
like
me.
hair is such a precious thing.
It
It really
really
is.
is.
It's so
It's so
personal.
personal.
And yeah, you really like can make or break you literally. Like,
And as
break
women,
you. Yeah.
especially, you know, losing our hair and having something change about the way that we look is just really, really hard again because, you know, through systemic things and societal things, like we feel this way subconsciously about ourselves without even realizing it. So
Thank you for all the content that you've been putting out. I think
of
it's helping a lot of people. What is coming up for Dana Patterson? What is exciting? And I feel like I kind of know the answer, but I'm just like, I want to see what
super secret details that the other people don't know.
You're gonna share. What's coming? What's coming?
So, #1 podcast, Gossip Saves Lives.
Love. If there was anyone who should be a podcast host, it is literally you.
Stop, I
I will
can't.
listen. I will do all the things. I will review.
I just feel like I am a professional yapper and I just want to do something where people can see more of my humor and personality because obviously I am hysterically funny. Okay. Watch out. But so that's like my #1 thing. And then of course, the hair care line. I have to bring my passion to life next year.
Next year? Okay.
So really, really excited. Our first, I'm not going to say how many, but our first couple formulations are done. Yes, they're done. They're amazing. I use them every day. They're going to change your life. We're using a lot of really new, exciting technology and ingredients that I'm really excited about. Yeah, some new bond building technology that, I'm just really excited for.
That is so exciting.
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited. And I'm working with my best friend Alex on it. She's doing the formulation for it. Yeah, she's awesome. Love her so much. And we're just so passionate about it. And like, for me, I knew that if I wanted to come out with a line, I would have to bring something new to market and something that would be exciting and not something that's like already out and whatever. I feel like, you know, people talk a lot about sustainability. It's like, stop coming out with lines that people don't need. It's not bringing anything new to the market. So for me, it's like, okay, if I'm going to do something, it has to be something new and exciting. I have to bring innovation to the table.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing. So I'm really, really excited.
Did you ever imagine that you would have a line? Is this something that you thought could actually happen? Or is it something that just presented later where you're like, I could actually do this?
In the beginning, it wasn't necessarily a thought of mine. Honestly, I've always wanted to have like a hair or skincare or fashion line.
Yeah.
I always knew that I needed to pour like my passion for looking hot into something. So I knew, I knew that I had to do something because, you know, the vibes are just overflowing. The vibe economy is up. So I was like, I need to do something with this, right? But Alex was actually the one who presented me with the idea because obviously like, you don't know how to get started. It's like, okay, a lot of people use like a standard chemist or like a standard formulator or they private label. And I knew that I didn't want to go that route if I came out with something. And so Alex and I met at this cosmetic chemist gala that she had invited me to. It was the first time we met. Like, we're so chaotic together. It was like first time that we're meeting and she was like, you need to come out with a hair care line. She was like, I just love you and I love your content. She was like, you have to do this. She was like, if you do it with me, great. If you don't, like, I'll set you up with someone else, but you have to do it. And so it was that like little push from her that really helped me. And then obviously I have so many incredible friends, you know, Charlotte of Do Skin, one of my nearest and dearest, and she has been so encouraging. And, you know, being able to have that insight has been so incredibly helpful too, because you don't know how to get started. So yes, it was in my mind, but I didn't know how I was going to make it happen. So I'm so grateful that we're able to do so.
And this is like a short time later. You know what I mean? Like this, it's not like it's been 15 years and you just like, you are here. That's, I mean, that's wild. That's really cool.
Hot, you know?
I mean, listen, again, when you've taken the time to build that background, it feels like it makes sense. Like it makes sense for you to dive into it and use all the knowledge that you've gained.
We're just so incredibly passionate about it that it was just the right fit. So we're so excited to bring these products to market and, you know, let people have the best hair that they can have.
Oh my gosh.
We're so excited. And just to be able to help people too through hair is just a magical feeling. So we're really, really excited.
That's really, really exciting. We have to like come back to this, and we need to do some stuff, and we need to like get some of the tea once it gets a little closer.
Yes, when we get closer, the tea will be served here on Hitting Pan.
Literally, IPSY people love hair care. They love hair care, and we have so many great brands here. But I think they're always like, we got K18 before K18 blew up.
The best.
They were,
love K18.
Thank God I hoarded some products. I literally was like, went to our product girl and I was like, can I have 3 of those?
Yeah.
And then like, I swear it was like 3 months later, like it was sold out. I would go to Sephora, I couldn't find it.
Product's
so
incredible.
we love hair people, hair stuff here. So just you come back to us. We'll talk later. We'll talk later. I can't wait to hear more about it.
You have like share.
Yeah, and you have such a good beauty crew, like a friend beauty crew. I like love all the people that you hang out with, like Alex, and then you're tight with Javon too.
Oh yes, love Javon. Yes,
I love him.
Iconic. We like call ourselves like the skincare Avengers.
Oh my God.
Because people always tag us and stuff on TikTok together. It's like always grouped in together.
Yes.
But yes.
You need like a series. We need to do something. We'll do a besties moment for you. All your peeps. And Charlotte, like I loved you too. I think like,
Drew is the best. Charlotte is just the best. Good people.
Yeah. Every time we close the podcast, we do this little segment.
I love
called
a segment.
Undeepable.
Okay, love. I'm ready.
I want you to talk about 5 things that are like undupable, irreplaceable in your life, right?
Okay.
It could be a product, it could be a person, it could be like something cool happening to you. It could be like, it could be really anything, right? But you have 45 seconds. It's so hard. It's actually so hard. I don't know if I'm gonna do this. I literally do it every time. If you don't get through all of them, it's okay.
Okay.
All right. Amazing.
I'm scared for my life. Okay. Let me know when I start.
Okay. Ready?
My therapist. Because I need therapy. We all need therapy. Please go to therapy. Number 1. Number 2, my mom and dad, because they are my like backbone of my life, and I call them about everything. They're my best friends. Number 3, iced tea. If I don't have an iced matcha or an iced green tea in my life, I will actually evaporate into the sky. Number 4, gold jewelry. If I don't have my jewelry on and something to fidget with as an ADHD person, I will also evaporate into the sky. So this is like a must. It is undupable. And lastly, but not leastly, I would have to say a lip stain. I love a lip liner stain. I can't live without it. I love the Kiko Milano one. I love the Stila one. I love the Wonder Skin one. Those are undupable. Try them and thank me later.
That was the best one we've ever had.
Boom.
I'm not joking. I'm dead ass.
Olympic question answerer.
No, I listen, the people in this room know that was the best anyone has ever done. Truly. That was good.
I'm here to cheer you on. I got pom-poms. They're virtual. They're not real.
All right, ready, set, cough drops, because they're the only thing saving my throat right now, keeping me alive. The Half Magic glitter and their little eyeshadow things. We're both wearing them today.
Wearing them.
So it shows you how much we love them.
Thank you, Donnie.
Yes. Number 2, the crew from Hitting Pan Podcast. People who are here, you can see them, and all the people who have helped along the way.
Real.
This is our last episode this season.
I'm so honored to be on the last episode.
Yes, ending with a bang. So them, undupable, truly, everybody. Pat McGrath lip gloss, any color really, but this one's pink and I'm obsessed with it. And then extensions, baby, because these things gave me a new personality, gave me new life.
I think you did it.
4 seconds.
Yay! Come on now. Yes.
Wow, I was inspired by her to just really push through.
I can't just really push through and like really get to it.
Yeah, that was my best one I've done all year too. So
okay, slay.
Yes, but
I do take credit for that.
Seriously, I was like, I gotta step it up because that was really good. Amazing. I love that. Thank you for coming on. I have to say, this whole time I was thinking, people tell me sometimes when they listen to the podcast, they're like, I love that I don't have to play this on 1.5 speed because you talk so fast.
Oh yeah, no,
same. We are the epitome of that. There is no speeding up this. No. We are giving you 1.5 speed.
We are giving you 1.5 speed, probably
at base
2x
level.
speed. Let's be real. Yes.
I love it. People are like, I have to do that to my podcast. I don't have to do it with yours. I was like,
no. People are like, you're talking too fast. I'm like, slow it down to 0.5. And I'm talking like a normal person. I have a lot of information to get into 60 seconds. Okay,
Same. I can talk as fast as anyone needs me to talk. So I love that for us. So just know we did that for you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you need to tell everyone if they happen to not be following you, which they'd be crazy, but where does everyone find you on all the socials?
Yes. So find me under Dana Isabella with 3 A's at the end. Unfortunately, I did pick that username long ago and I got to stick with it. See it through my boy. Okay. So my TikTok, my Instagram, my Pinterest, and then my YouTube is just under my full name, Dana Patterson, which coming soon.
Amazing. Yes. And also, podcast coming soon.
Gossip Saves Lives on all platforms.
Love that.
Come share your gossip with us and love on the gossip with us.
Amazing. And if you love this episode, you're going to love all her content. She's giving you this and more. Just know you need to go. You need to go. Also, like I said, this is our last episode of this season. What a grand finale.
Honored.
This was so
honored.
Fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, literally, I could have kept going.
I know we could be here 5 hours later.
Yes, I would like to get you home and
Yes.
just like
Oh,
in your
love
vibe.
you.
But like, no, this was so fun. We're so happy with the season. We're so happy with everything. If you haven't heard all of the episodes, go, because we release them every Thursday. There's 10 episodes.
They're
We have
incredible.
some amazing guests. So until next time, keep an eye out in the second half of the year. Maybe like a little fall action for season 2. We'll see.
Yes.
Amazing.
Incredible. Thank
All
you
right,
again for having
everyone.
me.
Yeah, thank you, Dana. You're the best. This was amazing.
This was so fun.
Bye, everyone.
Are you hitting pan?